Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Balancing Act, the podcast devoted to helping families navigate memory loss and dementia. I'm Kelly Burtonshaw. Let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to tackle one of the hardest and most common struggles I hear from caregivers: what to do when a loved one with dementia refuses help. Maybe you've heard it too. I've been doing this all my life. I don't need help. Or stop worrying. I haven't fallen yet. And here are some that can cut pretty deep. Do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm an invalid? They get angry. And you? You feel hurt. Maybe even defeated. Because all you're trying to do is make things easier and safer for them. But the truth is, refusing help isn't just stubbornness. Dementia changes the brain in ways that are so complex: psychological, emotional, practical. And yet you can see these struggles plain as day. Forgotten bills, misplaced items, safety hazards around the house. And that leaves you stuck between the proverbial rock and a hard place. So today, let's dig into three things: why refusals happen, which kinds of help are more often resisted, and how to shift your approach so you're more likely to get cooperation instead of conflict. There are reasons you feel the need to step in. In the early stages of dementia, struggles become harder to ignore. Forgetfulness shifts from occasional to real disruptions in daily life. Maybe your loved one starts cooking dinner but walks away and never finishes. You may find the toothbrush on the counter with the toothpaste beside it, untouched. Keys, wallets, jewelry seem to go missing more often. And you might see piles of unopened mail, newspapers, and magazines that seem to grow taller every day. Or maybe they get stuck following directions. Something as simple as using the remote control can suddenly feel like a maze. Words get harder to recall, not just names, but everyday words. Now, taking all these things together, they paint a picture of someone who's likely going to need help, whether they realize it or not. And if you haven't already, this is the time to talk with their physician. These aren't just senior moments. A professional assessment can give you and your loved one clarity about what's happening and how to best respond. But here's the lingering question. If the signs are so obvious, why would your loved one refuse help? One of the reasons may surprise you. Dementia often causes something called lack of insight. In simple terms, the brain doesn't sound the alarm when something goes wrong. It just keeps moving forward with the tools it has in the moment. So your loved one honestly believes that they can still do everything the way they always have. Now add short-term memory loss into the mix, and you've got another challenge. They don't remember that they don't remember. You might find the toast left in the toaster again and again, but to them, it's always just this once. That's why we have to meet them where they are. We can't force them into our reality anymore. We have to adjust to theirs. There's also an emotional cost to accepting help. Think about it. Who likes being corrected, especially by their own children? It's embarrassing. It's frightening. Deep down, they might be wondering, does this mean I can't live on my own anymore? Are they planning to move me out of my house? And then there's pride. Many older adults grew up believing independence was tied to character, strength, and even self-worth. Needing help feels like weakness, or worse, like being a burden, and no one wants to feel like a burden to their family. Here's another layer: confusion. Sometimes they don't even understand the help you're offering. So the safest answer in their mind is no. And that can spiral into suspicion or even paranoia. Suddenly, the person trying to help looks like the enemy. No wonder so many shut down. Let's talk about the most common trouble spots. So where does this refusal show up most often? Let's call them landmines, the areas where conflict is almost guaranteed. First, identity-related tasks. These are things tied to who they are, how they've always seen themselves, and all the things they've been able to do. Mom's recipes she's been cooking for 40 years. Dad being able to fix anything around the house. And if you step in, it can feel to them like you're saying, look, you're just not capable anymore. Second, independence-related tasks. Financing and driving top the lists here. Even if bills are unpaid or paid twice, even if credit card numbers have been given out over the phone, many loved ones will still refuse to hand over control. And driving? Well, that's a whole episode in itself, and we're going to get there soon. My best advice here: talk early. Make a plan before crisis forces your hand. Third, changes to their environment. Clutter, piles of furniture. These feel familiar and safe to them. Change feels like the enemy. One family I was working with tried to organize their father's apartment. Mail was stacked on the counter, clothes piled high all over the room. The bathroom was covered in toiletries, and he flat out refused to let anyone touch anything in his apartment, insisting he knew where everything was. And there's a real risk: safety. I've seen too many falls caused by crowded walkways, extra rugs, or poor lighting. Sometimes a home safety evaluation that your doctor has ordered can open doors for change. And when change has to happen, go slowly, one rug at a time, one small pile reduced. Take from the bottom so it's less noticeable. Believe me, those little steps will add up. Fourth, routines. If your loved one has now been getting dressed after breakfast, trying to switch it back to before breakfast can cause total confusion. Routines are anchors. Shifting them suddenly often leads to refusal and a meltdown. Fifth, health and nutrition. Malnutrition and dehydration are very real risks with this population. But lectures, no, they rarely work. Instead, be subtle. Leave fruit on the counter. Stock the fridge with easy snacks, gradually replacing the less healthy stuff. And if you notice weight loss or major changes, don't wait. Call the doctor. And finally, medications. Now this one's serious. Medication mistakes, missed doses, double doses, are one of the top reasons older adults end up in the ER. This is not an area we can sneak around. Families and physicians need to step in together. This is when you start getting the pill sorters, clear out old prescriptions, and simplify their medication routines. You have to be respectful, but you also have to be firm. Almost every conflict comes down to communication. Nobody likes being corrected, nobody likes lectures, and nobody likes feeling stripped of control. So instead, because they have no control over what's happening, they can't change what they're doing, we have to shift our approach. Offer choices. Instead of saying, "You forgot to set the table," try, "Mom, do you want me to set the table now, or should we eat in front of the TV?" Same outcome, but they feel in control. And you can use speculation. "I wonder if it might be better to pay this bill now or after lunch." This feels like teamwork, not a command. And you can also pretend to be the one that forgets things. Dad, did you tell me you wanted to do this before or after we went shopping? Again, they get to decide. It feels lighter, right? Less like conflict, more like cooperation. And just so you know, I get it. And I got to tell you, it's exhausting. You want to make things easier and safer, and instead you hit a wall. But here's what I remind myself, and I hope it helps you too. It's all in the how. Pick your battles, adjust your timing, shift your words, and celebrate the small wins, because those little wins add up and they really matter. So here's what we've talked about today: why refusals happen, where they show up most often, and how communication and small shifts can make the difference between constant conflict and, hopefully, cooperation. The next time your loved one says, "I don't need help," take a breath, remember these strategies, and know you're not alone. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. And if you have any questions or comments, please message me at our Facebook page. The link is in the show notes. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone else walking this road. Most of all, give yourself this grace. Nobody is perfect at this. Nobody. You're doing the best you can, and you're doing it from a place of love. And that is enough. I'm Kelly Burtonshaw, and it was my pleasure spending time with you today. Please, keep in touch.
Hi, I'm Peggy Wright, editor and producer of this podcast. We know that juggling your loved one's care while trying to manage your own life can truly become a balancing act. We want to help you as you navigate this journey by offering our support. You can reach out to us anytime by going to our Facebook page to ask questions, leave comments for Kelly, or talk with her one-on-one by setting up a chat. The link is in the show notes. And you can find us on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what you hear, please take a moment to rate and review so we can continue to provide relevant content. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for listening today.